I asked if I could bring my grandkids to my sister's lakehouse party, and she said, "It's an intimate gathering, David. Adults only." There was a pause on the phone. I looked out my kitchen window at the bird feeder I'd built last summer, watching a cardinal peck at the seeds. "Adults only?" I repeated. "You understand," Jennifer said, her voice bright and dismissive. "It's just close friends, very small, sophisticated." I understood. All right. I understood that my two grandkids, 8 and 10 years old, weren't sophisticated enough for my sister's lake house. The same lake house I'd helped her buy 15 years ago when her credit was shot and no bank would touch her. "Sure," I said. "No problem." "Great. So we'll see you Saturday at 3? I hung up without answering. My wife Margaret came into the kitchen, drying her hands on a dish towel. She'd heard enough to know. "She said no to the kids?" "Adults only," I said. "Sophisticated." Margaret shook her head but didn't say anything. She'd been telling me for years that Jennifer only called when she needed something. But Jennifer was my little sister. After Mom and Dad died in that car accident when I was 22 and she was 17, I'd raised her, put her through college while working double shifts at the fire station, co-signed her first apartment, paid for her wedding when she married Marcus. That's what family does, right? Saturday came. I went to the party alone. Margaret stayed home with the grandkids, taking them to the park instead. The lake house sat on 3 acres of prime waterfront property in northern Michigan. Jennifer and Marcus had bought it as a weekend retreat back in 2010. I'd put down $40,000 for the down payment when their loan fell through. "Not a loan, a gift," Jennifer had insisted. "You're investing in our future, David. Family investments." I pulled up the gravel driveway. There were at least 30 cars parked along the circle drive and down the road. Intimate gathering. Right. I grabbed the bottle of wine I'd brought and headed to the back deck where I could hear music and laughter. "David!" Jennifer appeared in a white linen dress, holding a martini glass. "You made it." She air-kissed both my cheeks, her perfume overwhelming. "Quite a crowd for an intimate gathering," I said. She laughed, touching my arm. "Oh, you know how it is." Word got out. "Come on, let me introduce you to some people." I spent the next hour being introduced to Jennifer's new friends. Real estate developers, investment bankers, a plastic surgeon from Grand Rapids. Everyone talked about their boats, their trips to Tuscany, their summer homes in the Outer Banks. Nobody asked what I did. When I mentioned I was a retired firefighter, they nodded politely and changed the subject. Around 5, I found Marcus on the dock, smoking a cigar. "Hell of a party," I said. "Jennifer knows how to throw them," he agreed. He was a financial advisor, always dressed in expensive casual wear that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. Must have cost a fortune. "She spares no expense." He puffed his cigar. "Says it's important for her business. Networking, you know?" I nodded. Jennifer had become a top real estate agent in the area, selling luxury properties to wealthy out-of-staters looking for lake homes. "How's the market?" I asked. "Booming." Jennifer closed a $4 million deal last month. Her commission alone was enough to buy a new boat. He gestured to the yacht bobbing at the end of the dock. "That's the new one. 42-footer. I looked at the boat. $40,000 would have meant nothing to them now. But 15 years ago, it had been my entire retirement savings at the time. I left the party around 6, before dinner was served. Jennifer barely noticed. 3 weeks later, my phone rang at 11 p.m. Jennifer's number. "David? Are you awake?" Her voice was tight, stressed. "I am now." "What's wrong?" "We have a situation. Marcus and I need to talk to you. Can we come over tomorrow?" "What kind of situation?" "Tomorrow, please. It's important." They showed up at 10 a.m. Jennifer looked like she hadn't slept. Marcus wore a grim expression. Margaret offered coffee. They declined. "We need money," Jennifer said, not bothering with pleasantries. $150,000. I blinked. "Excuse me?" "Marcus made some bad investments. We're underwater on the lakehouse mortgage. If we don't come up with the money in 30 days, we'll lose it." I sat back in my chair. Margaret's hand found mine under the table. "That's a lot of money, Jennifer." "I know. But you have it. Your pension, The house equity, your savings. You could take out a home equity loan. You want me to mortgage my house to save your lake house? It's not just a lake house, David. It's my business hub. I entertain clients there. I need it. Her voice cracked. We're family. You've always helped me before. I helped you before because you needed it. This is different. How is it different? She leaned forward. You helped me with college. You helped me with my wedding. You gave me the down payment for the lake house. Why stop now? Because you're 58 years old, Jennifer. You make 6 figures a year. Marcus is a financial advisor. For God's sake, how did you end up $150,000 in the hole? Marcus shifted uncomfortably. We overextended. The boat, the renovations, some investment properties that didn't pan out. It's temporary. We just need to bridge the gap. No, I said. The word hung in the air. No? Jennifer's voice rose. You're saying no to me? I'm saying no to mortgaging my home to cover your bad financial decisions. After everything we've been for each other? She stood up, her face flushing. I'm your sister, your only family, and these are my grandchildren's college funds you're asking me to gamble with. Gamble? We'd pay you back. Like you paid back the $40,000 for the down payment? Her mouth opened, then closed. That was a gift. You said it was a gift. You said it was an investment, family investments, you called it. Margaret squeezed my hand. Jennifer grabbed her purse. I can't believe this. After I raised you, you raised me. I stood up. Jennifer, you were 17 when Mom and Dad died. I was 22. I raised you. I worked doubles at the station to pay your tuition. I ate ramen for dinner so you could have a real meal. I gave up dating, gave up my own life, to make sure you had everything you needed. And I've been grateful. Grateful enough to exclude my grandkids from your parties. Grateful enough to only call when you need money. Tears welled in her eyes. That's not fair. What's not fair is you rewriting history to make yourself the victim here. Marcus stood. Come on, Jen. We'll figure something else out. They left without another word. Margaret made tea. We sat in silence for a long time. You did the right thing, she finally said. Then why do I feel like garbage? Because she's your sister. And she's very good at making you feel guilty. 2 days later, Jennifer called again. I'm sorry about the other day, she said. Her voice was calm, measured. You're right. We shouldn't have asked. It was inappropriate. Relief washed over me. I appreciate that. I do have a favor to ask, though. A small one. I should have known. What kind of favor? There's a potential buyer for one of my listings. Big commission. Could you watch the lake house this weekend while we're at a conference in Chicago? Just make sure nobody breaks in, water the plants, that sort of thing. It seemed harmless. Sure, I can do that. Thank you, David. You're the best. That Saturday, I drove up to the lake house. Jennifer had left a key under the mat and a list of instructions. Water the plants, bring in the mail, check the dock. I did my rounds, then sat on the deck with a beer, watching the sunset over the water. It really was beautiful up here. I understood why Jennifer loved it. On my way out, I stopped to use the bathroom. That's when I saw the papers on Marcus's desk. I wasn't snooping. The desk was right next to the bathroom door, and the papers were spread out, impossible to miss. Refinancing documents, loan applications, and a letter from a law firm. I picked up the letter. My name was on it, David Morrison, regarding promissory note for $40,000, dated the 15th of March, 2010. Promissory note? I read further. They were claiming the $40,000 I'd given them for the down payment wasn't a gift, it was a loan. And according to their calculations, with interest over 15 years, I now owed them $73,000. I read it 3 times to make sure I understood. They were planning to sue me for money they claimed I owed them, based on a promissory note that didn't exist. I pulled out my phone and took pictures of everything. The documents, the letter, all of it. Then I left. At home, I showed Margaret. They're going to sue you for helping them? Her face went white. That's insane. It's fraud, I said. They're manufacturing debt to solve their financial problems. What are you going to do? I thought about Jennifer at 17, crying in my apartment after the funeral. I thought about walking her down the aisle at her wedding. I thought about every birthday, every Christmas, every time she'd said, "You're the best brother ever." I'm going to see a lawyer. Monday morning, I sat in Thomas Brennan's office. He was a lawyer I'd worked with years ago after a fire-related injury case. Straight shooter, no nonsense. He reviewed the documents I'd photographed. "This is attempted fraud," he said. "Do you have any proof the money was a gift?" "Just my bank records showing the withdrawal. And my word." "Did you ever sign anything?" "No. Jennifer insisted it was a family thing. No paperwork needed." Thomas leaned back. "Here's the problem. Without documentation either way, it becomes he said, she said. But the fact that they created a fraudulent promissory note works in your favor. That's a crime. I don't want to send my sister to jail." "Then what do you want?" I thought about it. "I want her to leave me alone. I want documentation that I don't owe her anything. And I want her to know that she can't manipulate me anymore. I can make that happen. But you need to be prepared for this to get ugly." It got ugly fast. Thomas sent Jennifer and Marcus a cease and desist letter, threatening to report the fraudulent documents to the police if they pursued legal action against me. Jennifer called, screaming, "How dare you threaten me with the police? How dare you forge documents claiming I owe you money?" "That's not what happened. Marcus's lawyer drew those up based on our understanding." "Your understanding?" "Jennifer, I gave you a gift. You accepted it as a gift. Now you're trying to turn it into a debt because you're broke." "I am not broke." "Then why do you need $150,000 in 30 days? Silence. "I saw the foreclosure notice on Marcus's desk," I said. "I saw everything. You're losing the lakehouse. You've probably already lost it. You went through our private papers? They were sitting on the desk in plain sight. This is unbelievable. After everything I've done for you, what have you done for me, Jennifer? Specifically. Tell me one thing you've done for me in the last 20 years that wasn't about you getting something." She couldn't answer. "That's what I thought," I said, and hung up. The next week, Jennifer posted on Facebook about ungrateful family members who abandon you in your time of need. She didn't name me, but everyone knew. My phone blew up with messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. "How could you do this to your sister? Family is supposed to help family. Your mother would be ashamed." I didn't respond to any of them. Margaret suggested I write a response. But I didn't see the point. People would believe what they wanted to believe. Then my cousin Rachel called. She was Jennifer's age, had been close to her growing up. "David, I need to tell you something," she said. "Jennifer called me last week asking for money. 50,000. She said you'd refuse to help her out of spite. That's not what happened." "I know. She tried the same thing 5 years ago. Asked for 20,000 for a business opportunity. I gave it to her. She never paid me back. When I asked about it, she said I'd misunderstood. It was a gift." My stomach dropped. "She's done this before? To me? To Aunt Marie? Probably to others. She's very good at making you feel like you're the bad guy for wanting your money back." I thanked Rachel and hung up. Jennifer wasn't just entitled. She was a professional manipulator. Thomas called the next day. We got a response from their lawyer. They're dropping the lawsuit. Just like that? Turns out Marcus's law firm did some digging and realized the promissory note was fabricated. They're not going to risk their reputation on a fraud case. Jennifer and Marcus have also agreed to sign a document stating you have no financial obligations to them. What about the money they owe other people? Not our problem. But I'd recommend you warn anyone else they might target. I sent a group email to the family explaining what had happened. I attached copies of the fraudulent documents, the lawyer's letters, everything. The response was mixed. Some people apologized. Others doubled down, saying I should have helped anyway. Jennifer sent one final message. "You've destroyed our family. I hope you're happy." I blocked her number. 2 months later, I saw on Facebook that the lake house had been sold at auction. Jennifer and Marcus had moved to a small condo in Grand Rapids. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no revenge high. Just emptiness. Margaret found me in the garage one night, sitting in my old truck, thinking about Jennifer, thinking about Mom and Dad, what they'd say about all this. She climbed into the passenger seat. They'd say, "You did the right thing. You gave Jennifer every chance. She chose to take advantage." I keep thinking about that scared 17-year-old girl who needed her big brother. That girl grew up. And somewhere along the way, she decided the world owed her something. Margaret took my hand. You didn't create that. You just stopped enabling it. The holidays came. For the first time in 40 years, I didn't send Jennifer a card or a gift. On Christmas morning, my grandkids opened presents in our living room. My daughter and son-in-law were there, drinking coffee and laughing at the kids' excitement. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? David. It's Jennifer. I stepped into the hallway. I'm calling to apologize, she said. Her voice was quiet, different. Not because I expect forgiveness, just because it needs to be said. Okay? I've been in therapy. Marcus and I are separating. The whole financial disaster made me look at who I'd become, and I didn't like what I saw. I'm sorry to hear about the separation. Don't be. It's for the best. He was part of the problem, but so was I. She paused. I took you for granted. I rewrote our history to make myself feel better about using you. And when you finally said no, I tried to destroy you rather than face my own failures. I didn't know what to say. I don't expect you to forgive me, she continued. I don't expect us to have a relationship again. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. What I did, who I was, and I'm sorry. Thank you for saying that. Take care of yourself, David. She hung up. I stood in the hallway for a long time, phone in my hand. Margaret appeared. Was that her? Yeah. What did she want? To apologize. Do you believe her? I thought about it. I think she believes it today. Whether it sticks, who knows? Are you going to forgive her? Eventually, maybe. But forgiveness doesn't mean going back to how things were. Some doors, once closed, should stay closed. Margaret hugged me. Wise man. We went back to the living room. My grandson was building a Lego set I'd bought him. My granddaughter was showing her mom a new doll. This was my family now. This was what mattered. 6 months later, I got a letter in the mail. Not from Jennifer, from her therapist. Jennifer had asked permission to send me something. Inside was a check for $40,000. The note read, I can't pay back the years or the sacrifices, but I can pay back the money. It's not about the debt. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's too late, even when it doesn't fix anything. Love, Jennifer. I stared at the check for a long time. Margaret found me at the kitchen table. Is it real? Looks real. I can call the bank. What are you going to do with it? I thought about depositing it, thought about tearing it up, thought about sending it back. Instead, I split it 4 ways and put it into college funds for my 2 grandkids, Rachel's daughter, and Aunt Marie's grandson, all the people Jennifer had borrowed from and never repaid. I sent Jennifer a note. I donated it to the next generation. Maybe they'll do better than we did. She never responded. I'm okay with that. Some stories don't have happy endings. Some broken things don't get fixed. Sometimes the best you can do is learn the lesson and move forward. I learned that family isn't just blood. It's respect. It's reciprocity. It's showing up not just when you need something, but when others need you. I learned that enabling someone's bad behavior isn't love. It's cowardice dressed up as kindness. And I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say no. My grandkids are 10 and 12 now. They don't know about the lakehouse or the lawsuit or any of it. They just know Grandpa always shows up for their soccer games and their school plays. That's the legacy I want to leave. Not money or property or grand gestures. Just showing up, being present, being honest, being the kind of family that doesn't need lawyers to define the relationship. I think Mom and Dad would be proud of that. I know I am.